Yeah, but aloha everybody. If you're watching from the YouTube channel, today we have a podcast again. I don't know what week this is actually. This is like week 5 now, week 6. I'm not sure. We've done a bunch of these podcasts already. And it's pretty good. I've been checking out a lot of the comments that you guys put on the YouTube channel. We're gonna make some more adjustments moving forward with the podcast. But as you can see today, we have some familiar faces, especially Thompsin. Thompsin. He's been in like almost every single one except for maybe like the first one. And we have some other faces like Onceinluv and Berk who have been in previous podcasts. And our new guest of the day, I try to bring 1 or 2 new people every single podcast. Today's special guest is, you may know him, Emptei, as a very high-level RTA player. Feel free to introduce yourself, Emptei.
I'm Emptei.
Emptei,
the name
sorry.
derives from Mike T, so it's MT. It's my initials. If you guys didn't know, now you know.
I have a question for you real quick before we get into this. Do you stream
Sure.
or do you plan to like start doing more streams or something like that?
I just finished a big contract, so I'm gonna start streaming sometime soon. Hopefully within the
I
next
have a question
month or so.
for Emptei as well.
Oh yeah, okay.
No, Thompsin.
How many LD Nat 5s do you have?
How many do you have?
5.
Wait, I thought you had more than that.
2 relevant ones.
Yeah,
But don't be a girl. Don't flip the
I have
question.
2 relevant ones. I have 2 relevant ones.
Yeah.
No, I have 3 relevant ones.
Liar.
Elenoa, Artemil, and something else, right?
Okay,
Yes,
so I have
Celia.
4 relevant
Now,
ones.
why don't you just answer my question?
How do you define relevant?
Why
I have
don't you
7.
just answer my question?
All right,
Seven.
we'll get into this. We'll get into this in just a second here. Tyler and Berk and I guess Thompson, if you want to introduce yourself again, feel free to do so. Just in case people are just tuning in for the first time here on Twitch or on YouTube, go ahead and yeah. You can start with Tyler. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Onceinluv. Stream on Twitch as well. Been around for a long time. I am the Asian guy with no LD Nat 5.
We can change that.
No, we can't.
Go ahead, Berk.
Yeah.
What's good? I'm Berk. I'm Berk on Twitch, and I also have no light dark nat 5s, but Elsha, Vero, and Jean kind of count, right? So three light dark nat 5s.
There you go. And of course, Thompson. Okay, you don't have to introduce yourself. Okay, you're literally on every single week. Everybody knows who the hell you are.
I just want to say something. Like,
Okay, go ahead.
I was a troll last week.
Yeah.
My microphone was broken. So yeah, just saying. I
Yeah.
wasn't trolling.
So what happened last week? If you guys missed out, last week's podcast, towards the end, his mic started like sounding really low, and we thought he was trolling us with like some kind of voice modifier, but it wasn't. It turns
It
out
happened
that
again earlier this week too. when I
yeah,
was
some
on
of my
Twitch.
friends told me with this Blue Yeti mic that that glitch sometimes happens where it makes your voice super low. So he wasn't actually trolling, but I think that was hilarious as hell. But anyways, thank you guys for joining me for today's podcast. We got a couple topics that we're gonna be talking about today. The main thing that we're going to be talking about today will be pretty much regarding into RTAs. Emptei brought up because of the recent event. I got to hang out with him in IRL. Pretty much everybody here was at that event, at the Saturday event last week. We were able to attend the sneak preview of the short film that you guys all saw from Comp to Us. So Emptei brought up a good thing about wanting to share how to team build in RTA, as well as potentially even how to pick and ban in RTA. So we're going to start off with today's topic here. Topic number 1, which would be how to team build. I can let you take it away, Emptei. You said MT, but people call you Emptei, MT. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's all the same.
Anyways, go ahead, take it away, MT. Tell us a little bit more about it, and I guess we can start discussing and brainstorming about how to team build.
So I'll go into a little history about team building. When I first initially started this game, I didn't understand the whole concept of team building or making units efficiently work together. When I first built teams, I watched Barry and stream, saw him do dungeons or whatnot, and just copied it. Didn't have any speed tuning involved, didn't have anything to kind of match up against him. He had obviously better runes, and I didn't understand why it was failing a lot. And down the road, I kind of understood what team building really was. The whole team concept not only comes from having a diverse set of runes, it also comes from having your team actually work together cohesively. The problem with a lot of people is that you see a lot of meta units. I myself do this often. I see a meta unit, and the first thing I think of is like, oh, that's got to be OP. I need to put that into my team. or I'll throw that in the mix somehow. I'll start ruining it. This one's awesome. It's got to work. But then you use it and you're like, hey, it doesn't really work together. Why is she so OP? Why is everyone having so much success with this? And with Mo Long, I threw my best set of Violent on him that worked for him. And originally when I used them, I didn't understand why everyone thought he was so OP. But after looking at the value of the monster, I started seeing him more as a team player than him himself as the unit. And in order to work or have him work efficiently, I needed to bring a sustain with him. And then that kind of changed my concept. And then I started valuing monsters. Okay, so my biggest value for my team right now is Velajul. And Velajul is on the top of my list. And the reason why I decided to do that was because Velajul has a pretty big kit. A lot of people don't see it. You see him as, he doesn't have that fast of a base speed. He doesn't do much. But to me, he has damage. He has a pseudo strip. He has cleanse, immunity, and a speed boost. That's
He has the best third move in the game.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is that a lot you're saying your perception on choosing units, building units, and this team building really changed as you were doing RTA. Instead of just looking at the unit, seeing whatever works more in synergy with it, instead of just picking units that are meta, right? And I think that's
right.
What a lot of players do is when they're doing RTAs and stuff, they build up units that they think are the most meta and they just pick them all together, and they don't have them runed properly, and they don't have them even work in synergy. So what is a team that you're currently using a lot in RTA that you're finding very effective?
Well, my team is pretty broken because they're all just broken units.
Well, let's hear it. People love to hear it, man. Let's hear how broken it is.
I bring Gianna.
Okay, that's enough. We're done. Okay, you can leave the room now. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
See you guys later.
Go ahead.
But Gianna, Elenoa, Artemil, Velajul, and then I throw in a mix of either Tableau, Celia, or and then Ganymede is another.
Did man just say
option.
Celia?
The man just named like the whole list of LD Nat 5s.
So here's an example of team building. Like out of that comp, actually, the best unit is not Celia or Ganymede. The best unit in that comp is his speed lead. It's Tableau.
Right.
Yeah.
Tableau's
Because
awesome.
if he doesn't have that speed lead, he'll still get wrecked no matter what.
And
So
also
that's like a good example of team
Race
building
to-
because you can't just throw 6 strong monsters on there. You need your speed lead to mix with your fast runes as well.
Okay, so let's try to make this conversation a little bit more relevant to maybe the majority of players out there. What type of units should they be looking for when they're kind of team building for RTA? Because I think obviously using your strongest units or your Nat 5s are very good, but I think like you said, team building is important. So what type of units should they be looking to kind of create and get ready for RTA?
You need to understand. You need to understand which route you're taking. Like, what's your strongest monster, and then you have to recognize which one are your bruisers, which one are your strippers, which one are your immunity, and go from there. Like, are you gonna take the immunity route, or are you gonna take the bruiser route? Are you gonna AOE strip? Are you gonna single target strip? And always like have a speed lead runed up, like Vanessa or like Sierra or something, and you need to build your team around that. You have to understand what are your bruisers, what are your strippers, what are your CCs and stuff like that. And if you're gonna single target strippers, so forth. Yeah.
Yeah, and on top of that, you pretty much want to choose 1 or 2 monsters that you want to enable too, and then you decide how you get them to do exactly what they need to do. So you bring let's do a free-to-play team, Copper Bulldozer. Those are successful. I mean, a lot of people don't see it, but those are extremely successful. There's a few G3s that use it from time to time. Even Copper Bulldozer, how do you enable them to do exactly what they need to do? What do you need to bring, and what are your weaknesses? That's how you kind of determine, how you build a successful team. There's a lot of people who try it, and they're like, oh, but he banned my defense buff, and I don't have any way of countering it now. But then you have you have two options there. I forgot what the wind one's called.
Olivia?
Olivia, right.
Mhm.
So you have Olivia. And,
You have the Olivia, you have a Messity. I see people use Rakuni.
Exactly.
It's actually a free-to-play comp that people underestimate.
Right.
Is the Copper Bulldozer comp in RTA.
Right, and people always underestimate these teams, but if you have your units runed well enough, speed tuned, and your Messity or Olivia really fast, they can be pretty.
I tell you how to counter it though. I'm pretty sure like 99.9% of the time you just ban the Bulldozer.
You pick Vanessa Triana and you ban one of the new
Right.
Yeah, or you just ban the Bulldozer, man.
because they can only kill one unit and then you lock them down afterwards.
I mean, it depends on what comp you bring. That
Yeah.
Alright,
What was a
traditionally
kind of comp we haven't really talked about? Go ahead.
So
Sorry.
the comp that's really really good right now that I've seen is a Messity, Olivia, Copper Bulldozer, and Ganny, or the Wind Dragon.
But like what Onceinluv say if you the Wind Dragon. Yeah.
Exactly. So you got your speed lead, and then if you bring Ganymede, he can always or set up somebody to do or for Copper to go again, as long as you can get him there.
You could have just called him Jamire instead of confusing me.
I'm sorry.
Jamire. I used to call it Jamire. Some people said Jamir, so now I say both. Whatever I feel.
I'm in Camp Jamar.
Yeah, so to go back on the whole like how to build the team and how to pick it, I agree really heavily with Thompson when he says you need to understand what your strongest unit is. I, for example, build my entire team based on my Perna, right? I run a 234 speed Perna on Will specifically, so I run all my units faster. So my Vanessa's faster, my Ager's faster, my Razvelga's faster, right? Everything has to be tuned to whatever you dictate your team around, right? It's really, really hard to build a team and just say, okay, I'm going to put these units in this range and these units in this range and then just hope it works, right? It's a lot easier when you pick like one or two units that are your key focus and then build everything else around it, like a specific speed Hathor or a specific speed Molong back in the day.
Yeah, I feel that players, like what Tyler said, players should really look at their account and determine, well, like what Thompson's saying here as well, what you want to do. Like what type of RTA player you want to be, right? There's people that cleave, there's people that just bruise out, there's people that, play at single target. You have to figure out what kind of style you want to play and kind of gear your units and look at your account, what's the best that your account can play. Because as you can see, you're hearing a bunch of different comps that, Thompson, Tyler, Emptei uses, and even Berk uses something different. Berk's known to cleave, right? Straight up cleave and bomb, right, Berk?
Right. I mean, okay, so as the wise Barian once said, build teams, not units.
There you
But within one account, you could have multiple comps. I think the important thing to do first is to identify what those comps are, not looking at units, but looking at whole comps. Once you do that, where do they overlap? And what units do they have in common? Those units are usually the most versatile units. For me, it's Tiana. I can use Tiana to either strip for a CC team, or I could use it to start a bomb team. For someone else, it might be a Molong or a Ganymede, or it might be a Vela for Emptei. Whatever it is, find your most versatile unit that fits in all your comps or most of your comps. Know what you're going to start with, and then from there, have like a decision tree. Like if they pick this, I can go this route. If they pick that, I can go that route. But yeah, know what you're going to start with and know which way you're going to go based on what they bring.
I think what Berk is trying to say is that now, like Emptei is saying that you have to build teams. But then after you play your team for a little bit, there's always a counter for like a rock, paper, scissors type of game. So then like after you get used to your team, you have to build you have to understand your first and second pick and third picks. But then your fourth and fifth pick or your third, fourth, and fifth pick could be the counters. So like your team is the same core units, but your last two pick or your last three pick could be different based on how much you've played that team. Do you kind of understand?
Reactionary picks is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. But it's just like kind of like pretty simple. Your team is like Ganny, Hathor, Molong, and then they bring in a Rakuni. So instead of the last two picks, has to be like Tessa and Vanessa. Like you just have to build. You have to have like different. The last two pick has to be like really flexible. Let me give you an example.
That makes sense.
I hate giving you example because I kind of expose myself. But like My combo is.
He wrote this out. This man prepared for the podcast. What is this?
No. This is. I didn't know what we were talking about.
Okay, go. Let's go.
I played on
This
Monday.
is just like.
This has a cheat sheet
Yo,
prepared.
let me check this out.
He's just not
man.
prepared.
No,
Hey, I gotta make
bro,
one of those.
guys, I have millions of paper.
Oh
It's not-
my
yeah,
god.
it's like notes. It goes on and on, man.
God damn.
Like,
Okay,
just-
let's go. Let's see it. Let's see one of these.
I have
This is an
Bibles.
honor
I
to
have
check out
Bibles.
this.
All right. This is just one page out of the Bible. But
Okay,
anyway,
okay.
like my comp is like Jean, Tableau, Gianna. If they pick the Jean, I have Light Monkey King or Hathor. Yeah. And then my Tableau, if they pick the Tableau, I have like Fran, Bastet, or Vertahill. Yeah. Gianna's here, right? And then there's other strippers too. Now it says like I could go Molong Jameyer, Sierra Triton, Shino Martina, Tessa Triton. It goes on. Yeah. Josephine Gani. And like you just like make counters, you just make teams. And like if they go like Leo, Juno, or Diana, I could bring like Arda, Fran. You just like write notes and teams. That's how you build teams. And you write their speed down and you put runes on them and there you go.
Okay, I'm laughing, but this is actually really smart. You know, if you're a really
I'm
hardcore
only
player, you're
laughing 'cause
serious.
he's pointing at things and saying the wrong thing.
No, I'm laughing because
Oh.
I actually see
Yeah.
him probably doing RTA, going down his Bible, figuring out what he's gonna do.
No, I mean I got tons of notes. It's like
That's
locked
awesome.
in the head. But like when you're first brainstorming, you gotta like write it down or type it up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I like
Yeah,
writing stuff
definitely
down. So yeah.
I mean, I do the same thing to some degree too.
And this is good for the podcast because like I
Yes,
tell
it is.
people what I do. You know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no. If you guys don't know, if you guys haven't
Which is a
seen
detriment to you.
these players stream, a lot of them stream their RTAs, and when they're doing their RTAs, they actually go through their thought process, which I highly recommend you guys check out. When you know Tyler or Thompson or Berk or any of them do their RTAs, they actually like talk out loud, and it's really interesting to kind of sit there and listen to how their mind's thinking when they're picking and batting, whether it's right or wrong, right, and as well as they're picking units. Yeah. Okay, I like that. I've never taken notes before. Yeah, but maybe that's why I am the rank I am.
If you go down to like if you go down to like next level gaming, sometimes you'll know who you play,
Mm-hmm.
and then you take notes of your opponents as well.
Oh, so you have a page
yeah.
on certain opponents.
Important to know
Oh.
who has will on what units, and it's important to know what people can counter against you.
Right.
You know what's
That's
funny?
actually true.
I actually have a spreadsheet of everyone who has a Gianna or an Artemil.
No, but what Tyler said just makes sense, right? Taking down your
Yeah.
opponents, kind of gauging their speed. Like, hey, this guy outsped this unit. I know he has a swift set this fast, right? This is on will. This is not. Is very, very important, right? That's a big
something
factor.
that I never tell anyone is I have a sheet list of everyone who runs a Swift team, because the only way I can beat a Swift team because I don't own a Tiana is if I pick the stat first. So I have a very, very extensive list of people who run Swift teams because I know I can't beat them unless I pick the stat first.
There you go.
So at what point does frequent name changing and logo changes become a viable strategy?
People do it.
I think the bigger strategy is the one that they did in last season for the Asia server, where everyone changed their name to the same thing in the profile pic.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's good. I think it's really nice, actually. I think it's nice because it changes the way you have to play RTA, right? You have to expect people have everything. Whenever I see somebody with that name and that image, I just assume it's Tiger every time, because Tiger's the highest ranked player with that name and that picture.
Right. Yeah, it's so important, man. If you go into an RT match and you're looking at your opponent and they're picking and banning, and you know that X unit is not on will or something like that, that is a huge piece of knowledge for you to instantly get a huge advantage on turn one when you're picking and banning against them and when you're going into battle. So, man, taking notes is pretty important. I don't know if I recommend that for the players that are in Fighter or Conqueror. I guess you could potentially take notes, but your pool of players are going to be much larger. So, unless you want to take notes on the daily, right? Because you're queuing up and you potentially get the same people during a certain time frame. That could be good, but yeah, taking down notes for your thought process is seems like a very viable strategy.
Another good idea is also to watch replays. If you watch your own replays or you watch, high level replays, understanding where people make their picks and bans, and then making the assessment of their units afterwards. So let's say, I'm fighting Thompson and I pick, Vanessa, Gani, Okeanos, two other units. He picks Gianna and Arda, but I leave his Gianna up and the Arda mill. Most likely, the reason I did that is because I don't run Will in any of my units, or I only run Will in one of them, right? So most people would like look at that objectively and be like, "Wow, he didn't ban Gianna, like he's gonna lose." But then you go into the match and you're like, "Okay, this is why he didn't ban Gianna," or I'm guaranteed that my Okeanos will outspeed or something like that.
Okay.
But
All
that
right,
definitely helps with picks and bans, like understanding where and when certain picks and bans are bad.
By the way, if you're a high level RTA, you delete all your replays. So yeah, you can get a look at it. No, really.
A lot of
this.
high level players do that.
Yeah, right. I've
Who
seen the
does it?
replays.
But it doesn't matter
Everyone does.
if I favorite you, I see all your matches even if you delete them.
You see them, you can't watch the replay.
Oh really?
You can watch them.
Yeah,
You can watch them, right? If you're
Watch
favorited
it. It says
somebody,
replay
you can
deleted.
still watch them even if it's deleted. I'm pretty sure, right?
Oh, I mean,
Really?
I think it's
you have
expired.
you have a small window. Once it's expired.
Oh yeah. Well, expiration. Anyways,
Also, if you play 10 matches, it goes away. 10 matches, all matches expire after.
That's true. That's true. All right. Actually, this is a perfect segue into the second topic here, which is pretty similar though. It's just revolved around RTA as well. Still, how to pick and ban. Yeah. What are your thought process when you're picking and banning? If that's a little bit too hard to explain, we can just go in broad general discussion about it, and then we can also follow up with what are common units that are picked and how to ban against them or how to pick against them.
Before I ever go into an RTA match, do you guys ever go through your list and click that preview button to see what everyone's running? You know, you go, you look at the replay list, right, of the top
No,
players
never.
or whatever,
Never.
and you click on it just to see what everyone's typically running.
No, but that's a
No.
good idea.
That is a good idea.
Dude,
That's if you're tryharding, yeah, that you have to do that. But if you're just playing casually, then you don't really need to do that, right?
it's not necessarily tryharding, but I like to see what's commonly picked, so I know exactly what to bring in case they do pick it. So right now, the meta is Fran. Everyone's picking Fran.
Everybody.
Everybody's everyone runs it. She's just too good. She has a pretty big kit. But I initially go into my matches assuming that Fran's going to be picked. Now, if you're going to do a pick and ban and you're watching what everyone's picking and what meta units are, you just got to assume these are going to be picked first. You can either pick that first or figure out how to counter it.
Not everybody has a bulwark
Or
Do
an
you have a
Odin.
Bulwark?
or Gianna.
Do you have
Yeah,
both of
true.
those?
I don't know.
No, I don't have a I don't have a bulwark.
Oh yeah, that's like one of the few you're missing,
But
right?
I'm
Yeah.
just trying to sneak it in there. That bulwark's pretty good against Fran.
Yeah, Diana's great against Fran too. There's
No.
things out there.
So those are some of the
Pseudo's
counters to
good.
Fran. So let's list some of the counters that people can pick against Fran if they can't pick Fran, right? It gets picked away. Bulwark,
Right.
Diana. What else? What else are units that because we got to give a wider range of units considering
Well,
a lot
I
of players don't
I
have
think
all these
before you go
numbers.
into that, you have to mention that
Yeah.
the picking and banning, you have to realize that if you pick one unit to counter one unit, if you have nothing else to counter it, if they just ban, like let's say they ban my Juno, right? I don't ban Fran. Well, now I have to deal with Fran being there. I have no answer to it. So you kind of
Right.
need to pick a team that generally runs 2 of each role. Otherwise, you put yourself in a position where you're gambling against the enemy bans.
2 of each role
Well-
or 2 of each role that counters what you're trying to pick against, right? Assuming that you're letting it through. So it's a little bit of mind games as well with the pick and bans, don't you think?
I
also
sort of
don't
agree
feel
with
like-
that.
Oh, sorry. I also don't feel
Go
like Diana is that good against Fran. I mean,
Well,
each his own.
everyone has a different speed on their Diana. I run my Diana pretty fast, so she gets in there before a lot of my attack dealers. But
So yours is
besides the
on
point,
crit rate.
yes. Well, it's HP speed, but yeah. Regardless, though, let's even assume that Diana isn't the best option against Fran. You got to see what they're bringing with Fran too. If Fran is the enabler, so because Fran does have an attack buff, if Perna is the next pick after Fran, you obviously know this person's trying to just beat you down with a lot of damage. So, their first pick usually kind of gives you an idea or a picture of what they're trying to do. And your job is to figure out what they're trying to make or what their comp is trying to achieve. So I don't know. A lot of people can kind of see it or gauge what other players are doing. Once I see Fran on the board, I immediately assume that they're going to bring damage dealers with it. Perna, Tessari, and... but if it's a low damage team, they're not using their Fran properly, in my opinion.
What were you saying you disagreed about just a second ago when Tyler was talking? I missed that.
Oh, no, I said I agree with them for the most part.
Mhm.
I can't remember what the topic was.
Because we're looking for disagreements on this podcast.
I was talking about how bringing
too many disagreements, you know?
bringing in multiple roles. So like if you're playing against an immunity team, you bring in 2 strippers. If you're playing against high damage teams, you run two units that mitigate it, or 2 CC. Right? If you're running some sort of Gani Hathor setup, generally you want a second CC with your Gani Hathor.
I mean,
Oh,
what
right.
it says is true, because you need to make sure even if they ban one, you still have one of each role, and that's where versatility comes into play. That's where you want units that can fulfill more than one role. And going back to Fran, she immunity and attack buff and until well, it's not.
She's got that really
spot cleanse.
impressive
She
single
does
target
like
stun,
everything,
too.
man.
Right. So
Is it
my-
an AoE stun on the first move? No, I'm just kidding.
Is it AoE?
So
Is it
my
AoE
big-
defense break? I thought. Sorry.
I don't know. Going into a match, my biggest fear is bringing 2 of a kind. I like to bait people into banning a certain monster, and I'll have an idea of what I need to ban because I'm assuming that they're going to ban that. So if I'm bringing Juno against double immunity, I'm obviously going to ban 1 immunity. I'm not going to assume that Juno is going to make it through.
Okay, to be
Uh,
fair though, with that statement of like you can bait bans, don't you find it's a lot easier to bait bans when you have really oppressive LD Nat 5s? Because like I know Thompson
Yes.
can force me into bans against things, but like
Well-
I can't force people into bans against my units because
Right.
there's only like 1 or 2 that really enable like the comp to be insane. Right? You ban my Gani, or maybe you ban my Vanessa speed lead. But like if you're running, let's say, Gianna Arda, and you have something else on top of that, like a Fran or you have a Perna, it's like I'm just in a really, really tight spot.
Right. I agree with that. I mean, my original climb to G3, I didn't really have many LDs. I pulled the LDs like a few months back, but before that, baiting was really hard. But
Let me
every team
say
does have
something
weaknesses.
really fair. I just need to say something and cut you off. Don't listen to Emptei. It's not really hard. Before he pulled the LD Nat 5s, he had every elemental Nat 5 in the game. I'm just saying. I'm not lying. By the way, you guys don't know how I met Emptei. I saw him at the first SWC, and his slogan was like, I don't even think I got a handshake or a hi, I'm Emptei. I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, I have every Nat 5, bro. I'm like, oh. All right. He's like, I'm missing 2. I'm like, okay, well, my name is Thompson, and you're really OP. You can ask him
Can
yourself.
confirm.
I
can
can't
ask him.
confirm. Oh my god.
Pretty funny.
Hi, my name is Thompson. He's like, I have every LD. Good. He didn't even say nice to meet you. Just like, good.
Wait, you have to say though, MT, within the last like year, you've summoned quite
I
a
got your back,
few LD
Tyler.
Nat 5s, right? Like quite a few
Yeah,
meta ones.
I've been pretty lucky in the last. You know what it is though. You just have to add Thompson as a friend, send sweet whispers to him.
Whoa, I just added him as a friend on Monday. Does it mean I get an LD Nat 5 this week?
100%.
Guys, LD Nat 5?
Well,
Dude,
it still
tell him that
entails you
he's
to
like the
spend
most
and buy
amazing
LD scrolls.
person in the world, and next thing you know, I get Artemil. I'm
No,
like, hey,
that's
we're
not true.
brothers
I
now.
didn't even get a handshake from him. Yeah, so yeah, Tyler's right. Like he called you out pretty hardcore, bro.
No, I agree. I mean, it is easier to bait now, but back before I was, before the LDs, I used to try to bait too. I mean, okay, say somebody brings Gani Hathor. What's your bait? Immunity, right?
Rakuni.
Amelia, usually.
Rakuni, Amelia, those are good baits, but you're gonna assume that your immunity is gonna get baited or removed. So how do you deal with them without, immunity? Some people are smarter. They play the time and wait until your immunity runs out. And then there's other players that, say, okay, there's an immunity on the board. That's my immediate ban.
So typically with Gani Hathor though, I know it's more situational on what else they have on their team, but what's a safer ban most of the time?
Yeah.
Huh?
Against the
Amelia.
team, or-
I think it's Amelia because Raccoon can always be
No, he's
controlled.
saying like who do you ban, Hathor or Gani?
Because
Oh,
I think a lot of times,
Ganny,
you know,
100%.
I would say Gani as well, but it's
I
like
think
it's a little bit more
depends on what their
situational.
team comp is.
Yeah, there's a little more situation team comp, but for the general
Right.
public out there, I think people have a hard time with figuring out who to ban in certain instances. Yeah, like Gani Hathor. I feel
It's
Gani
not
is
always Gani, but
So
when in
I
doubt,
actually
Gani.
always ban Hathor.
Yeah, I
and
think-
the
I
reason
think
I
that's a
always
good
ban
rule.
Hathor, and you saw me when I was playing on your account on Saturday, but when I play against that, I ban Hathor because a lot of people don't know how Hathor's sleep mechanic works, but the way 2-turn sleep
Go for
works
it.
is that when you're 2 turns slept, you cannot violent proc. So what happens is you're in sleep, and then the next turn you can violent proc. Because when you wake up from the turn and you're still CC'd, you're unable to take a proc. So I find that when you fight Gani Hathor, generally you need to get one lucky violent here or there, unless you have a really good team comp setup. But I find Hathor is a lot stronger. Also, the fact that she doesn't glance on her third skill, I think makes her really, really strong. Pretty much everyone runs 85 accuracy, so there's no point in believing in resistance.
I heard you say this before, but I'm not sure. I saw you make a funny face as well, Thompson. Why is that?
Oh no, because like I don't know what you mean by you can't violent proc.
If you have
when
2 turn
you're
sleep on you, you cannot proc into 0 turns. If you have 1 turn sleep on you, you can wake up and then violent proc.
Yeah. But you have 2 turns, you can't violent proc.
You have
into
2 turn
one.
sleep, you cannot violent proc no matter what.
Yeah,
Well,
I've heard
can
you say that a
proc out
couple
of the
times,
sleep,
but I
but
never
you're-
tested or
You
seen
can't
it.
proc out of 2 turn sleep. It's not possible. It doesn't exist.
I thought you can proc onto the next sleep and then out of
can't.
that.
You can't. I've played like 2,000 matches of Hathor in the last 3 seasons, and I watch it every single time. And I've asked people in all the EU streams and all of the EU RTA players to watch it. It doesn't exist.
That might be
And
something
we
to
learned
test and check
that-
out. That's weird. Yeah.
It was actually a European player that told me about that. Same with the European player that told me about how Diana works.
But you could proc out a 1 turn sleep for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
what
right.
happens is
That's
the
for
order
sure.
the order it goes is that it ticks sleep first, and then it ticks damage. So if you have dots, it goes sleep and then damage, and then it ends your turn. And because you end your turn, if you are awake at the end of your turn, you are able to violent proc.
Okay,
make sense?
everybody
Okay,
out there.
and
that,
you're right, DJ. You're right to specify it is specific to RTA because of the 1 violent limit.
It makes sense. If anybody out there has ever tested it, you got a video of it. If you ever procking out a 2 turn sleep, let's get it, because I guess we're 99.9% certain, right? It's kind of one of those things.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that you could still proc out of 1 turn sleep. So
Correct.
it's like, you know.
Yeah, that's always a known thing. It's the 2-turn part that
Yeah.
I
And
swear-
plus the Ganymede like just like kind of removes a unit from the game for a long time. I guess like it just depends on your the team you pick against and seeing if you have like long cooldowns or short cooldowns too.
Right. So going back to that, I feel like when in doubt, just ban the Gani because it has just so much more versatility on majority of team comps that you'll be fighting against between.
And the
Gani
coolest
Thor.
part about Gani is that most Ganis are like 280 plus, you know. Am I
in
right?
G3.
Yeah.
Relative to your rank, they're going to be
Yeah, so
decently
it's
fast.
like Hathors unless they're on Swift, you know, could be like 270, you know, 275. But then Ganis are always like 280s, you know. So
In G3.
to 300 even.
in G3.
Well, either way, the Ganymede's usually
you know,
faster.
I think I'm thinking like G1,
the
G2s,
Swift-
you're going to see like
the Swift
260ish
Ganis are really
of
easy to
Ganis.
get up to like 300, and there's
Mm.
been a lot of Swift Ganis as well. So you know.
With the recent patch, a lot of people are running their Hathor faster than their Gani again. Anyone who's really taken a good adjustment is either running Swift Hathor or they've slowed down their Gani just slightly. It's nice to have really fast Gani still, but you need to have units that move in front of him. I've been talking to Fame Memory Josh about this for a while, and he recommended putting a couple units in front of my Gani, and it definitely improved my success rate because instead of having useless Gani turn 1 when they're full will, I can actually do something. You can ventilate another unit.
That's nice. So Gani's a good band then.
The
because,
only thing you're not protected against is Oki. Other than Oki, everything else it's better.
That's the thing, because if Oki is able to go and it just resets whatever, you're not going to be able to ventilate it like before.
That's the only monster you're scared of, or like a 300 speed Aegir, but that's about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which doesn't happen often enough.
I'm just.
Any other
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
since we're talking about Gani Thor, any other like specific kind of units that you might see that people have a hard time picking and banning against, and how to pick accordingly
Mm-hmm.
for, against them?
I think
Nika.
for Fire Vampire, Vertihill.
Yeah.
Oh, Verd. Yeah, that's right.
And you just bring like burst damage against Vertihill, and it's
That's what everybody's telling me. Yeah, it's like if you let a Verd through, you decide to leave a Verd through, you better be able to just nuke it, right? Basically, because like nobody really bans the Verd. Do you often ban Verd? For the most part?
I'm a big fan of Jean, so I ban Verd a lot.
Okay.
I ban Verd if they have safe leads.
Okay.
I ban Verd if I know it's gonna just do too much against my team. Like if Verd and Leo are in the field, I'm banning Verd.
Yeah, it really depends on the comp you bring, because Verd is a good counter to a lot of AoEs in general, or Jean, like Thompson said.
Okay, cool. Any other things you guys want to talk about in general now? It doesn't have to be picking bands. Doesn't have to be team building. Whatever it is that you guys want to discuss in RTA and get opinions on with everybody else that's in the room here. Feel free to ask. Anybody?
When you guys started doing RTA, were you like really high rank when you first started doing it? I know when I first started doing RTA, I was like Conk 1 maybe, and then over the next that was in the preseason, like the original preseason where we could get wings, and then I think after that I pushed into like Guardian 1, Guardian 2 after about 6 months. I'm just curious of everyone's experience, like whether you guys started at a really high rank or if you climbed your way up or not.
I think I might be G2 once. I don't know. I forgot. Usually I'm never been lower than that. It's like G3 every season, I think.
Yeah,
I've
in
been on a steady
preseason.
decline.
I'm on the decline as well.
Yeah, in preseason, I originally didn't do so well. I didn't.
You
wasn't sure
mean
what I
like
was doing.
pre-LD Nat 5s?
Well,
No, I'm so toxic. I'm sorry. Keep going. I'm sorry. Yo, you're taking a beating today, Emptei.
We were all thinking it.
but it's okay. I still come out the winner at 7.
There you go.
Anyways,
Every elemental Nat 5.
but but before that, I didn't understand what comps were and didn't really have a team going in. I just put my best runes on the units I thought were good and just did it. But that was also because I was coming back to the game at that time. I had taken a 6 or 7 month leave before then, and then came back as soon as RTA came out, and I was under ruined, I didn't have many monsters either.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of players really believe it's monster and runes. I think it is to a certain extent, but would you say the majority of RTA is actually coming from a lot of skill as well? Like if you give, let's say you give like a random person your account, Thompson, I don't think they'll be even nearly at the rank that you are.
Incorrect. If I give anyone my account, they'll be G3.
Oh wow, this guy.
Challenge accepted.
This guy.
Don't see how
This guy.
they cannot be.
Well,
No.
that's it. It's about knowledge is what I'm trying to
I
get
would
at.
agree to say that they'd be guaranteed G1 and most likely G2. I don't know.
No, they'll be guaranteed G3.
Thompson is really humble, but
think-
skill
I
is
think
definitely
you-
a factor.
I don't mean this to be offensive, but I think you overestimate how good people are at playing RTA.
They
and
have
a lot
the
of it comes from
knowledge.
experience.
Let
Let
me-
me
knowledge is what
segue
it
with
is.
this. This is really funny. You guys gotta watch it. So like, I don't delete replays, right? So people watch my shit. So like, I brought Gianna, and Tableau, right? I'll show you. This freaking cancer guy, he brings Tetra and Vermos.
I like
Freaking
this. I
Tetra
like this guy.
Vermos.
Yeah.
Cancer, right? What a freaking a-hole.
But
He
I
knew how to
think
counter you. He's got a big brain.
I can't freaking do it. How do I screen share?
You can't that. But what I was
Yeah.
trying to get at was that, knowledge is very important in this game. Like being able to hang out in this podcast, being able to watch replays, getting knowledge on units, how they work, mechanics of RTA is a big role in RTA. And like you're assuming that somebody gets your account, they're gonna be G3, and you're assuming most of the players that you know or Guardian players, right? But obviously those people are the people that are not in the category of who I'm talking about, right? Because they have knowledge in the game. They know how the mechanics of most of the characters work. If you were to give that to a fighter player, do you think he'll still be G3 in a week of doing wings? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think that G3 player.
I'll give him my account and tell him to bring Shina.
Well, you're giving them
Bastet.
knowledge, right? You're giving them knowledge, is what I'm saying. The majority of, I'm saying a lot of RTA
Okay,
is knowledge. Is what I'm
let's
If
trying
you
to
give
get
them
at.
your notepad, they'll be G3.
Yes, my Bible.
Let's put it this way. All right, if I was given Mike Tyson's body, right, and I'm going to a boxing ring, I have no experience. I don't know how to punch.
You're right.
I don't know how to fight. I'm definitely gonna lose.
But you need the body,
Even though
which is true.
I've
I
got this
agree.
OP body,
Mhm.
It's just a body at that point.
That's a good example.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me say this. If I give my account to 95% of anybody that plays Summoner's War, they will be G3.
That is totally
Oh, yeah,
false.
that's
That is totally
That is
false.
vastly
That-
incorrect.
that is
Really,
totally
average player is
incorrect.
I
average
completely
player is not even
disagree.
That is
fighter one,
totally
dude.
incorrect.
Totally.
Your average
Yeah.
player is not even fighter 1, Thompson.
Thompson's really
Yeah.
humble. That's all it is. He's just too humble to admit that he knows what he's doing.
Okay, end of the day, I'm just trying to get at, if you want to be a better RTA player, right? Obviously, farm runes. Obviously, if you get more units, it can help your account. But taking the time to watch replays, taking the time to, you know, check out streams and ask questions and watch RTAs is going to greatly improve your rank. Because I want to be able to help the majority of the population to want to play RTA and have the enjoyment of RTA. I feel RTA has a high skill cap, and that's why people enjoy playing it. And I don't think you necessarily have to be endgame to enjoy and play RTA.
I have a quick question I want to ask. I don't know if it's appropriate.
Okay, why don't you whisper it to me real quick here?
I saw Jubagel's like new YouTube video, and he said like the new Summoner's War RTA like real time Summoner's War, a new RPG Summoner's War is coming up.
Yeah, the
Coming
MMO.
up.
They just announced it. Yeah, they
Are you
announced
guys
it.
gonna play it or no? Because I'm too invested in this game. I
Mobile
don't know if I'm gonna play it, man. Honestly.
Okay, so the MMORPG was talked about last year. They were supposed to announce it last year. It's getting announced now. And from what I know, it's going to be like a separate game. I don't know if it's going to be similar or not at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm just afraid I'm gonna lose all my friends in game.
I mean, yeah, the community being split is always a concern when something like this happens. I mean, we should at least try the game out, you know, socialize in the game, say hi. But yeah, in the end, if our hearts are already with Summoner's War and we've already invested in Summoner's War, it is hard. But you gotta at least give it a try. It can only help the game grow. If the IP spreads,
It's a different type of game, though. You know what I mean? And as a
Yeah.
gamer, you enjoy different types of games. So the people who will enjoy MMORPGs will probably hop over there and dabble at it. But with any new game, no matter the creator of the game, it takes a while to mature. So it's not going to be anything like Summoner's War. So I still feel Summoner's War will be here for a
Okay,
long
cool.
time, man. Yeah.
I think
That'll
the
be
hardest thing too is like with the whole mobile MMO aspect, everyone's so like scarred from all the ones that were released.
Oh
So
yeah.
everyone's
What are you
just
talking
on the
about?
fence. Like they hear
Nope.
mobile MMORPG.
I am
and
waiting
everyone's
for
just like,
Diablo Mobile, dude. Oh my god. It's going to be lit. I'm being sarcastic, by the way.
Everyone hates on mobile games, but you know they're pretty convenient though. But to answer your question, Thompson.
Yeah,
I'm
are you gonna
definitely
play
not
it?
gonna play it. No.
You're not. Yeah, I'm not too.
I'll play it if you play it,
I have
Thompson.
too much of my time invested into Summoner's War.
I think a lot of us will dabble into it, though.
Yeah, I
mean-
just hope the support for Summoner's War doesn't dwindle because.
Yeah.
Of Summoner's War. That's
I
my
can't
biggest-
dabble.
I don't think it does.
I
I,
go
think
all
Summoner's
out.
War has its own team because it's the biggest game.
I mean, you can play the MMO without tryhard. You can just, you know, walk around
style.
and explore, you know, indulge in the lore, and then go back and try hard in regular Summoner's War.
I don't like to
Just-
waste my time.
I'm just actually curious to see
Yeah.
how good the game is. That's it. I want to see how good it is. But let's be real. Come to Us knows that Summoner's War Sky Arena is their baby, and it's a moneymaker. So they wouldn't invest more time in something else than this one until maybe this one's not looking like it's continuing to grow. But I think the growth is still exponential for Summoner's War. No matter what anybody says, right? A lot of people are like, "Oh, did you hear this person's quitting and whatnot?" That's Twitch and YouTube. I feel like makes such a small percentage of the total population of people who actually play Summoner's War that we know of.
Okay.
I mean,
It's actually
people
a
are
really
always
big
going to
game.
quit the. People are always going to quit a game. That's
Mhm.
just the natural cycling. People quit, people join. But yeah, Twitch, YouTube really amplifies whenever someone quits, and that's all we really hear. But the game's still alive and running.
I don't think it's hard for this game to attract like newer players.
You sure?
But
I
you know
think
what,
they did
though?
pretty
They're-
good. They just
they're
hit
not-
100 million downloads. Speaking of that, I heard today they're going to do
Yeah.
somebody like data mine. There's supposed to be a new pack or something, and they're saying it's 100 million download special pack. Yeah. So
I
Yeah,
guess
it-
what I mean is it's hard to attract new relevant players.
Okay, so yeah, it might be hard for a new player to suddenly jump into G3, but if you go and look at the chat rooms, there's people who have started playing within the last year, within the last few months. People are still joining the game. They might not be competitive in RTA for another couple of years, but there's still an influx of players.
I
By the
think
way,
the game-
those people could be quite toxic because they'd be like, "Oh, I started off late, and then you're so good, and I can never catch up." And yeah,
I just like. Go ahead, Tyler. I think you have a good
I was actually
opinion
having
on-
this conversation with a friend of mine who quit a player for a long time. He quit Summoners War maybe in the last year or so. Logs in once in a while to just see what's up and stuff. But the discussion we were having about it was, is Summoners War dying? And my kind of view on it and what I've seen over the last few months is that as these G3, like high G2 level players quit RTA and quit the game and leave, what ends up happening is there's this influx of C3 players who have now pushed into G1. And now that the ranks have opened up to 2,500, 1,000, 300, so that they're more specific and set in stone, there's kind of this mindset when you're close to a rank, like, oh, I want to push for that rank. So I'm going to start spending money. I'm going to start influencing people to play with me. I'm going to start, competing with my friends. So naturally, as players quit, there's actually this like psychological draw into the game where players who have been playing for a long time become very influential, right? That's why we have streamers that come up, people that haven't streamed before, people who are in the G1 to G3 range, or even people who are lower, they push the game and they educate players and they help people, right? Right now we even with all the like really big names that have quit, we still have tons of content creators and we have tons of new upcoming content creators too.
Shredded is back.
Yeah, he's back. I was talking to him yesterday, and he's back, so it's good.
Oh, why is he back?
Was that?
Nothing. Never mind.
No, he did. I think he did a video on it explaining. So if you guys,
I didn't watch it, but I just heard he's back.
Yeah, he's back and he's gonna be making content again. So that's good.
It's a good explanation video of why he's back too. I'm kind of glad he's back. He was good for the community.
Yeah, but
I just got a text from someone. Shredded is back. Yeah, I was like, what? That's how I found out.
But yeah, going back, I feel like the game is very enjoyable for players. I mean, RTA is big, but it's big in our eyes. Like, as a new player, think about it. Put yourself in their shoes, right? They're a new player. They're coming in to play a mobile game. It's a free game. Yeah, there's so many aspects of Summoners War to enjoy, right? All the achievements to do at the beginning, getting through all the scenarios, the dungeons, making friends, making guilds, doing guild wars and stuff like that. There's a lot of aspects and a lot of things for you to do that are not RTA related at all, not endgame related at all. So I think the game's doing a really good job at catering towards a lot of the newer players, if you've noticed, through all of these different changes that they've done in the last couple of years. You just really haven't realized it. Yeah, all the achievements, helping you to make variables, helping you to guide you to get into the game. We never had this when we started. So they're doing really good at bringing in players into this game.
They are and they aren't. They're adding a bunch of new things for the newer players, but then they're pricing them out too with all of these different packs, re-apps,
okay, but that's
memorial
assuming
stones.
that people are competitive.
If
right?
they're
By
competitive,
nature, the
which...
majority of players
Right.
are not competitive.
Mhm.
I would say that less than 10% of players are, competitive in a game like this, right? We have so many players. You go into a default channel and you watch the default channel, you log 100 names. I guarantee you 5 to 10 of them will be competitive players.
The rest are just casual. They're just enjoying
And
Summoners
the other
War
ones
for
will
it.
be people who spend and don't care, or they've just been playing for a long time.
I
There's
also want to
players-
say this: if you are not competitive, you tend to quit.
There's players who have never
Yeah.
stepped foot in an RTA match, but enjoyed this game on a daily basis. They enjoy talking in chat. They enjoy, like Island said, guild wars. Guild wars is usually, with the exception of farming guilds, guild wars means, even if they're weaker, they're up against a weaker guild. They have fun working as a team with their friends. It's a social game.
Yeah,
and like what's it?
That guild aspect is huge. Being able to play with your friends.
Yeah.
It's a very small percentage that's competitive at the highest levels, but the rest of the player base still supports the game, and we kind of depend on each other to survive. The end game players can't survive on their own. If it's only whales, the prices are just going to go up and up. We need the rest of the player base. At the same time, the whales support the game so that the rest of the people can enjoy it. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I think whatever, despite what people say, this game is thriving, and it's bringing a lot of players into the game, free to play, casual players that are really enjoying it, and they're doing a really good job, to be honest. It's hard. It's actually hard to cater towards every aspect and every type of player in the game. The people that have been there for so long, and the people that they're joining in, because end of the day is they still want to bring in more players every day, no matter what happens.
If they
Right,
want to
but-
bring in more players, they should make more co-operational gameplay.
Yeah, it's
Cooperative.
coming out soon. Didn't you guys see on the bottom in the scenario it says preparing update. It should be coming out real soon. That's gonna be it. That's it, man. That's gonna be the game
One of these
changing release
days,
right
one of
there.
these days.
More ways for my guildies to yell at me for not carrying my weight.
Yeah, but to kind of I can relate to the whole new players aspect because my wife started playing
Oh,
right after
Ah.
SWC.
Yeah.
She got into the game, but she couldn't get past Giants B7. So she was struggling there. Even though there's a lot of things to help the new players, there's still a big speed bump getting past that part. And that was where she just kind of said, you know what? I don't really want to sit and just farm B6 for, a few hours, get blue drops, and hope that I can get to B7.
I think
was
that's where the
pretty- it was
knowledge
pretty
kind of
tough
kicks
for her.
in because you,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
should be able to do it. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
I taught her as best as I could, but she just wasn't willing to sit and hit the farm button over and over.
Which is totally
So I
understandable.
actually I disagree that it's a knowledge bump. Right now we have so much given knowledge in the game, especially with the achievement system. I have done it. I have done like the whole 2-player grind again on a
Same.
couple accounts
Same.
in the last like maybe half a year. And for the most part, it's really just a dedication thing. It's how much time do you want to dedicate to getting past it, right? It's very doable and it's very straightforward. But I agree. I totally agree. It is very grindy, right? But that's the nature of this game. We've been playing this game for 3+ years. Some of
Right.
us 4+ years. We know how grindy it is. We grind whatever dungeon for like 12 hours a day every day, right? If you want to improve. But the thing is, like, as a new player, when people come to my stream and they're like, oh, like, is this game free to play friendly? Is it all these things? I'm like, the game is very free to play friendly in the early game. You will not be in the top percentage. You can enjoy the game still, but keep in mind the game is very grindy. So if you like a time sink, it's good. If you don't, it's probably not for you.
It's probably not for you for any mobile game. Let's be real. Unless you're looking to play like some kind of
Just wanna
MOBA.
be casual
I don't
and
know.
collect, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're well.
I feel like that the free to play aspect of the game doesn't really kick in until you're able to do some of the things though. So events. A lot of people don't have the monsters to finish events. Some people don't have monsters to do this aspect of the game. Like TOA is a great free to play product.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to get there, you either have to grind a lot of hours or, get kind of lucky on runes or whatnot.
I think
But
all it is
it's
time. I think that with mobile
Yeah.
games and spending in mobile games and gacha games, money will accelerate the time and speed that you will progress. But like Tyler said, if you put the time in and you take it casually, you'll eventually get there. It's just you're not gonna be able to do everything optimally, right? Which is
Summoner War is one of those games you can invest a lot of money in and still not speed up your time. I'll tell you that though.
well now in your current position
No,
where you're like
I-
stuck at the...
imagine you start off the game
Okay.
and you spend like $30 and you pulled a freaking aerial. You're not gonna speed up your time.
It's true, but I mean, like, there's
It's
a lot
probably
of free-to-play things that you can make and obtain that speed up your times. You Bella, Vero, Verd now being fusion, like these things
Yeah.
over time and playing, and of course you gotta get lucky too, right? That's a fun aspect of the game. Logging in every day, doing bit by bit, getting a couple summons. You never know when you get lucky with the 3s and even 4s that'll progress in the game. I find that aspect kind of lucky being free to play.
If you never summon like a Hua, a Galleon, a Lucian, like you're not speeding
Or
up
the
nothing.
twins. Yeah.
And nowadays it's twins.
Yeah, my wife was 100% free to play. She was not lucky at all.
I mean, they're doing their best to help us. They gave us Verde. They just gave us a free twin. They recognize that. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these days they found a way to ease us into Galleon. They should, by the way. It's essential. But
Well, I feel like Galleon is good, but on that quick topic though, Galleon's good, but I mean, there's a lot of replacements. Whereas Verd, I mean, there's not really replacements except for maybe Spectre. You know what I mean? Not as
I
many
guess that's
options
fair.
for early game. Yeah, it makes sense. I really
Well,
hope
you
that they
see,
continue
like
to do that.
some people could get frustrated because like they spend money on the game and they get like no returns.
It's a gotcha
not me,
game,
but
baby.
just other
It's
people.
a gotcha game. It's the luck of the draw,
Not
baby.
me.
Yep. You pay knowing. There's,
There's,
I think in this world there's enough people complaining. Yeah, it's you. I tell people if you're gonna spend, know what you're spending on. before you do
Well,
it.
what I'm saying is maybe they should do something about like dupes or stuff like that. Because like you pull 2 aerials, man, you should quit the game.
Siege.
Like,
Yeah,
that's the
they made it.
advice.
It's called Siege. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
their response. I'm just saying from
Thompson
their
saying
point.
it like
That's
it
that's
is.
their response, by the way.
How you know 2 aerials?
Hey, what's up,
and-
Patrick? I'm on podcast right now.
You're on podcast? Oh, hello.
Hey, what's up, Y? Cuz hey, this week we actually have 5 guests on the podcast. We have Y Cuz here as well.
Call me later
Okay, bye, Mr. Whale.
then. Okay. Bye.
Hung up on him. Okay, I have a question for you guys, if you're okay with this, Brian.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
If you could give one tip to people who are trying to improve in RTA because they're stuck, not because they're new to it, but because they're stuck, what is your one piece of advice? I'll go first, to be fair. So for my one piece of advice is if you're hard stuck in RTA, you should completely re-rune your RTA account. Completely. Because when you completely re-rune all the units that you've been using for so long, it gives you a totally different perspective on how you can use units, as well as how your account can go in direction. So what do you guys think?
I feel like a duck is a duck, a horse is a horse. Like you cannot turn a duck into a horse, you know?
That piece of advice did absolutely nothing. Wait, can you explain? I didn't get it. Can you explain to me? Like, I'm maybe strip.
I think we need to be G3 with LDNF5
Like
to understand this
if
one.
you're like
Oh my God.
if you're a dog, you can never be a dragon. Do
Okay.
you see where I'm coming from?
Okay. And how will
Yeah,
this
Put
tip
on a
help the
costume
player?
and try.
How will this
yeah,
tip help the
cosplay
player?
guys, man. We
That's
can do
what
that now.
Tyler's trying to insinuate. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Tyler's trying to say you could try to look like a dragon.
No,
I think what I'm trying to insinuate is, okay, for example, I was for a long time like hard gated at low G2, right? And then I reruned my account. You know, I gave better runes to my units. I built them as a closer team. I also valued things like accuracy more. I valued things like having 2 speed difference between a defense breaker and a nuker, right? A lot of people just get stuck into this ideal. They're like, okay, my team's ruined really well. I'm climbing, and then they get hard stuck, and they're like, okay, but I should still be climbing because my team is really good. You know, I think what people need to do is, you know, step back and say, all right, let's take a look at the whole thing and run it as a clean slate and try again.
I got it. I got your advice. I get it. What Tyler's trying to say. He's saying if you want your account to be better, put better runes on your monster.
There we go. Okay. Great.
I get it. Oh, of course.
Got it.
I get it. Right. Good advice.
Thompson.
All right.
Okay,
What
what
about
about now,
what about you, Emptei or Berk? What is your tip?
I agree with them, with Tyler's comment about that. When I started doing RTA, my best runes were on my farmers.
Oh.
Anyone that did B10, anyone that did Giants or Necro, they had the best runes. I've always been in the thought process that, you know, my farming team will accelerate the rest of my team as long as they can get me more runes. And then once RTA came out, you know, I brought in monsters with, you know, second, third set of runes or whatnot, and then just struggled all the way up. It wasn't until I just kind of dropped everything, deruned all of my monsters, deruned all of my farmers, made the farmers to be adequate enough, and then I put all of the best runes on to like 6 or 7 of my RTA units.
But
And
see,
then I focused on them.
the difference is we're end game. I think first before making that decision, you need to decide. Okay, where are you in the game? Are you ready to compete? Are you ready to go for it? You know, if you're not ready to compete at the highest levels, or at least the highest levels you want to compete at, you know, whether your goal is to get G1, G3 legends, whatever your goal is. If you're not ready to realistically compete for that, don't put your best runes on your PvP units. Don't waste all your best grindstones on your current best runes.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
that's when you know, you gotta know, all right, you're in rebuilding mode. Then you can put everything on your PvE units, you know, save your best grindstones, you know, save the orange gems, and wait until you're ready.
Recharge.
And then you can, you know, hit the switch and move everything over. But know when you're ready and know when your goals aren't in reach yet.
I don't think there's anything wrong with trying. Just go for it, man. You know?
Yeah.
That's the fun in
change
it, right?
if
To
you
try
really
different things.
On top of that too, you don't necessarily have to be the first turn every time. I know everyone's got this idea that you always have to be the first turn team. Like,
Prefer
you gotta
second turn,
bring
man.
Yeah, well, see, there's a lot of people who take like third turn even, but they can deal with it because their runes are so efficient. They're tanky. They can deal with the bruising or the beating that the other team's throwing at them. Exactly my point.
What? No. Keep going. Sorry.
And then there's other teams that run 100% on everything, 100% resist.
Say that name too loud.
The OO cat guy, I forgot his name,
He's very
but that guy
efficient.
has 100% resist on everything, and it's just he's extremely tanky. That guy doesn't even take second turn. I'll do a second turn before he takes a turn. But his team is extremely good because he's on will. He resists pretty much everything, and he has good RNG. You don't have to have the fastest runes in order to compete either.
Yeah, like I was just saying, Joseph, for example, you know what I mean, took everybody by surprise with his efficiency on his runes to be so tanky. It took people like even Tiger asked, like, Tiger, what happened? Yeah,
He
after
fucked
the
me
match.
too.
Yeah, even Thompson screwed him over too. But I asked Tiger what happened, and Tiger said he was too fast, and that he was too fast, and you know, Joseph was really slow, but had all his efficiency on being tanky. So it does work. It is
The
definitely
Teton strat. You outslow the enemy.
Yeah, and a lot of times if you're too fast too, and everybody's on will and they ban your stripper,
I
you have
hate
no stripper
that.
to go in. Do you know how many turns you just take that are just completely wasted? Yeah, you're just going at them and they have immunity.
That
up,
will
they
never
get
happen
up.
to you again.
Never.
Well, not
But
you.
that's now. That's the new me. But I'm talking about old me.
Oh me.
The before Thompson me.
ET.
I'm telling you, you just gotta message Thompson with some
Sweet notes. Yeah.
sweet whispers.
Anyways,
Tell him that
what
you love
my
him before you summon.
I guess my better tip for players that are really hard stuck in RTA is just simply give up. Just stop playing RTA. Just toxic.
I was not expecting that at all. Jesus.
Got him. No, I would say something that wasn't mentioned that I'm gonna reiterate again is knowledge. Yeah, watch replays. Yeah, see what other people use. See what other people use as units to counter. See how they pick. See how they ban. And of course, like what Tyler's saying, revamp your account. Rerun your account completely can really change the way you do RT and the way you perceive it. And your mindset and strategy that you initially have, you might be opened up to another strategy that will work a lot better for you. So it really is knowledge, man. Definitely is knowledge. Watching more RTA will make you a better RTA player for sure. Respective to your rank, respective to your relative rank. Okay, I mean, you don't sit there as a challenger and you watch like RTAs and then you magically become a conqueror. No. Right, respective to your rank, you're gonna get to whatever maximum ability your account can obtain. Right, that's how you're gonna get there.
Getting your butt whooped in RTA is not a bad thing, though. It's how you learn. You're gonna get beat a lot of times, and you see how you get beat, what you did wrong, what they did right, and that's one of the best ways to learn. There's nothing wrong with that. Just have fun with it.
Yeah, on top of that, having fun with it is one of the hardest things you could do too.
Eh?
A lot of people get tilted. A lot of people get upset when they lose. I'm just saying, you gotta find something that's fun about what you're doing. For me, it's just testing out new comps, just playing around. I don't really care for rank right now. The transmog isn't something I really care for, but for the most part, at this point, I'm just playing. I'm just playing because it's fun.
Emptei will fart G3 anyway.
Dude, for me, the best feeling in the world is when the guy picks Gianna Artemil against you and you clap him in one turn and he hits the quit button. The best feeling in the world.
Or when they choose Ragdoll, Gianna Artemil, and then that's the best feeling. I just quit out. I saved 5 minutes of my life.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, you just got to find something that's fun for you. If RTA isn't fun for you, it's just not your time yet.
Yep. I definitely agree
That's
with that.
pretty fair because the guy that has Artemil and Gianna don't feel too bad getting clapped by someone that doesn't have it either.
But yeah, I think tilting is a big thing in RTA. I think a lot of times people, when they get tilted, they don't stop and they don't take a break. I think you should really take a break because if you're even 1 ounce tilted, you're gonna make a decision that's 1 ounce less smart. I guess you can say, as smart as that statement was, and that's gonna not be good for you in your battle. It's gonna give you a lower chance of winning. So just do what I do. Just accept that you're a loser, and then you'll never be tilted. No matter what the RTA, man. I mean, I'm joking, but it's technically a little bit serious as well. Yeah, be a little bit lighthearted is what I'm saying when you're doing RTAs, and really stay focused when you're doing RTAs. That's definitely how you'll be able to rank up.
If you get tilted, that's when all the other modes in the game really help. You know, if you get tilted in RTA, let's do some labyrinth.
Guild Wars, and then you'll feel more.
Labyrinth is infuriating.
Let's try to. Oh, maybe not labyrinth. Let's try to set a new Dragon's record. I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever makes you happy.
Quick question. The viewers want to know this. I also want to know this.
Sure,
Do you guys have like an auto Totoris team?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Share.
There's two teams. One is one of my friends, and one is mine. I use Amarna, Beta, Perna, which is cheat code totally, Bastet,
Amarna.
and Darian for the whole clear. One of my friends
you
uses.
can auto it?
Pardon?
You can auto it?
On hell.
Okay.
If all the bosses are down,
It's called easy mode,
If the
Foxy
fire
says.
boss is dead, I can also auto.
Okay, I'm gonna text you the specs. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna tell me the
The
specs.
other team that one of my friends used for a while was Varus, Fire Undyne, Darian, Tion, and something else. I don't remember what the last unit was. I could ask him and message it to you.
Free to play.
Yes.
Free to play. It
Whoa,
seems like.
what's
And
Fire
Yeah, he
Undyne do?
uses Varus because it has the inbuilt vampire.
Autoing hell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, what does Fire Undyne do again?
Fire Undyne
She
balances
heals-
your
she
HP
evens
and then
out.
heals everyone.
They just buffed. They
That's
just buffed
right.
her recently, like a low key buff that just
Yeah,
made
she
her a
got
little bit
even more
stronger
now.
healer. That's all.
But this is before that.
Oh, even
Yeah, I know.
before that.
I
Oh,
know
wow.
a lot of people are like bringing a lot of defense and they're autoing Totoris. I haven't had the time to like break it open and figure it out. Yet,
What do you call this boss again?
He said
Totoris?
Tartarus.
You mean
Tartar
Tartar?
sauce.
Tartarus? Oh,
I don't
call
know.
it
Like
tartar.
that's how less of time I spent on lab.
You don't
Yeah.
even know the name.
Yeah, like SSA, we don't really do like this kind of stuff. I think all we do is RTA. Yeah.
I mean, the rewards are pretty good, but yeah. All right, we'll go on to the next topic here. Let's change gears just a little bit. Just something I wanted to talk about. It's probably gonna be really brief, but topic on what are your thoughts on the new CompTIA short film? Like, especially because we went to go sneak preview. What do you think about the sneak preview? What do you think about the event? What do you think about the actual short film? Do you want to see more? What's cool? What's not? Changing gears a little bit here.
I'm really jealous because when I was a little kid, the cartoons on TV did not look this good.
I agree.
Like,
Okay,
the
quite the
graphics were not this
opposite.
crazy.
Okay, quite the opposite. I even
Okay.
told they did an interview with me on
Okay.
that. And if I was like a 5-year-old, I would really enjoy it. But I'm like 33, man. I was like, man, that thing's for like infants.
Yeah, it is quite PG. Like it is quite PG. Like it's not
Oh,
it's
no,
not
it's not
catered
PG.
towards.
Ripping
Huh?
You
at
don't
them,
need
bro.
parents' guidance for it. It's just G.
Yeah. Okay. It's very very G. Definitely. But I mean, yeah. So how do you feel about that then, in correlation to
Okay, you're more mature. We're all pretty mature people, and 95% that people play Summoners War are pretty mature.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people who play Summoners War also watch like anime or will watch cartoons.
I don't feel like you should let like 18 and under people play Summoners War.
Why?
I mean, I won't be telling my kid to play this game, man. I'm like, man, don't ever
But
touch
what
this
if
game.
what if
and
they're
don't
just
ever
trying to
enter a
segue?
casino.
What if they're just trying to segue and like it's a totally different route that they're going where their company wants to do these films? It has
I
of
feel-
course
I
people
feel
will know
like
there's a
it's,
game, but it's not correlated that way. People might
I
discover
feel
the
like
film.
it's bad. I feel like it's bad propaganda for young kids.
Okay.
Are you saying gotcha games are propaganda?
I mean, like you spend money.
I mean, he isn't wrong, but
Maybe that's why they're coming out with MMO. Confirm. We just found it
Yeah.
out right here. The new MMO is G. It's rated G. Guaranteed.
guess-
Come on now, they're gonna make you figure out a way to spend money on the new MMO.
So for
You
my
telling me the
perspective,
MMO is free to play.
Mobile games
that's,
are usually
that's
not
just
never
the
free to play.
concept of all mobile games now. Yeah, everyone's just about.
And like, if the short film is geared towards like such young age, would you want that young age group to play Summoner's War?
I mean,
That's
you're
what
never too old to watch cartoons, man.
I know, but the
Wait,
cartoons I
wait,
watch are like
wait,
One
wait.
Punch Man, Attack on Titan.
But you're talking
Even,
about
Rick and
younger
Morty.
kids, younger kids, and you're talking about transactions, right? Like
The
gotcha games,
Summoner's War short film is not Rick and Morty or Attack on Titan. Bro.
right? But you're saying younger crowds or younger kids, and gotcha games, and being able to purchase things, and getting in that
Yeah.
kind of. But what about Fortnite?
Yeah.
There's
You're
that
telling
issue
me
already
you-
existing in Fortnite, and they're thriving. Are they
Well,
not?
the already existing the already existing community for Summoner's War is a bit older, and I don't think they will enjoy and sit down and watch that short
It's a
film.
cartoon about Summoners War. What do you
Thank
want
you.
them to do? Like, sort of like Duran sexually harassing people on the island? What adult stuff do you want to see? Why can't it be something we can all enjoy together?
No,
Watch
not
podcast.
Duran
I like
sexually harassing people, Berk. Yeah,
The wrong
maybe.
podcast. This is
Yeah.
the After Hours podcast.
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
this.
Well, I don't know what type of cartoons you like watching, but yeah, I guess we have different tastes. That's all. If you like the short film, you like the short film. You're a cool guy.
Might be the first disagreement we've had on the podcast. Only freaking took 2 months. God damn.
I like cartoons.
So,
I mean,
my
the-
opinion on it, I think
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
don't think there's anything wrong with actually going this direction, especially if they're planning to segue the IP as a franchise. So if they want to take the IP of Summoner's War and this world we know as Aaliyah, if they want to take that and franchise it into separate games and create merch and really develop this world on it, I think that adding something like animated shorts or a television show is a pretty good idea actually. Right.
Also, the next
especially
time
if the
you're
other
tuning in-
aspects are focused on younger people, right?
The
Yeah,
next
we're
time
kinda
you're
getting
tuning
old.
into an RTA game, Berk, is going to be a 5-year-old beating your ass.
I don't doubt that.
Thompson.
But and
Brutal, buddy. Brutal.
the greater picture of things, though, like
Me too.
if they're expanding the IP, they're creating more games, they're coming out with a new show. That's only gonna help ensure the game survives a longer time. I mean, that's a good thing for all of us. Even if you don't
Having
watch
lots
the
of
show.
6-year-old playing this game is
Okay, but what's
the already
important about this
existing
game is not just
community.
about like
That's what I'm trying to say. Aren't 5-year-olds.
But don't we want the community to grow? Those kids will grow. I mean, Topa started playing the game when he was 13. Look at him now.
I don't know how, and like there are times he's tempted to want to spend money on this game, and he's also spent a little bit, and it's hard to balance that. I don't have to, like, you could just play like something else that
doesn't that just teach
cost
maturity to
so much.
balance whether or not you can spend on something?
Oh,
you
give them a
gains-
game to teach maturity. Of course.
It's the nature of gacha games, and yeah, there's always gonna be that inherent danger. We always got to be careful, but I mean, there's no reason a little kid can't enjoy the lore of the game and go enjoy doing their daily arenas, find Durand and all that, and then
That's-
turn around and watching their cartoon. There's no reason.
Yeah, I mean,
don't
I
see why
could
you're so
see
hung up on
this.
this like being only directed towards little kids. I mean, there's tons of people who love this kind of stuff.
I think
in
this
every
is
age
actually
group.
really, really good in terms of Comtuo's growth and Summoners War growth. But I do understand what Thompson's saying as well. You know what I mean? Like kids and gacha games. Yeah, it doesn't look good. But can you imagine this, right? This last year, Summoners War did an event, and it was a competitive tournament and everything. But they really had the theme of making it a event. You're coming to a festival for these various events, like the LA festival. Can you imagine this Summoners War growing even more? They have short films. People like the short films, and they come to these festivals. Of course, Summoners War is going to be an aspect of it. But think of the bigger picture, right? They can sell merch. They can have different things at these festivals that everybody else can enjoy too, not just the game. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to play the game, right? They enjoy it for the show maybe that's going to get released, or these films getting released. I think that's pretty awesome. If you ask me. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's
that's
my
cool.
I mean, for me, the short film just kind of builds a backstory. I'm cool with that. I have no problem with it. But to kind of agree with Thompson, I just hope it's not marketed towards kids.
I agree.
It's
I mean, nobody can deny
clearly
that.
marketed towards kids.
Okay, now that statement is
I think that's totally bullshit. Excuse
Okay,
me.
okay, fine. It's not. It's marketed towards adults.
I think
There's only
I think
one.
that
There's only.
you have this mindset where it's like, okay, if I don't like it, adults won't like it, which I don't think is true at all.
Okay, have you watched the short film?
I was there with you.
We're all there.
We're all there. We watched it twice. They played it twice.
I flew down to visit you
We're-
guys.
We were all in the same room watching it together.
We went for
Alright,
lunch, man.
I'm just gonna agree to disagree.
No, stick with your opinion. Stop. This is good. This is good.
I'm just trying to say I disagree, but in a different way. But okay.
Yeah. Good.
I'm 35, but maybe I'm just immature. I felt it was targeted towards people like me. I like cartoons.
Honestly, I think like the 20 range is still fine. There's a lot of 20-year-olds who would still watch cartoons and watch anime and all that. If they like the IP, I don't see why they wouldn't watch something that supplements it, right? I'm a huge fan of lore, right? That's why, for example, in E7, I read all of the lore, right? Because I care about those things. When I play games like Fallout, I read every aspect of dialogue. I go through all the dialogue.
20-year-olds are watching Archer or watching Rick and Morty by now, man. They're not watching.
Love Rick and Morty.
Yeah, they can watch everything, right? Archer and Rick and Morty are more aimed towards adults, right? They're very well aimed towards adults. But I think a lot of people still enjoy all these things, especially lore. I think it's totally underrated. Everyone's like, oh, I don't care about lore because, most people don't care about lore, but there's still like that, 20 to 25% range that enjoy it. And it does help supplement things.
Well, I'm gonna go on Berk's Netflix account, and it's gonna be like My Little Pony, 1 through 12.
Look. There's some kid shows that are good. Like, okay, you like Pixar movies? When I went to see Toy Story 3, I was in a theater full of little kids. I wanted to cry in there. It was touching. Just because the kids enjoy it doesn't
There's
mean...
not one Pixar movie that did not make me cry. Even Wreck-It Ralph made me cry. Right? But I'm just saying that is not a Pixar movie. Are you crazy?
Okay, that's fair. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Another perspective. What about families? What about people who play Summoners War that have kids, that their kids play Summoners War? I have a couple friends in real life with kids that are like between 6 and 12 that play Summoners War because their parents play, right? And they also love the IP. They like the idea of things. So when they saw the short, it was great for them. They loved it.
Actually, if you think about it, it doesn't work in both ways. People who play Summoners War know there's a short film, but people who see the short film not necessarily know that there's Summoners War. They didn't do anything to really, indicate, hey, watch this short film, and hey, there's a game as well. We have a gacha game, Summoners War, right?
Yeah, if you have a kid, would you rather have your kid play Zelda or Summoners War?
Whatever they want, man. I mean, I'm not gonna dictate what my kids want to do if I have kids, right? I'm gonna let my kids enjoy life.
As a dad, though, I personally like Summoners War, but I don't know if I necessarily would want my kid to play it, though.
Thank you, Emptei.
What if you just wanted to watch the cartoon?
Ooh, by the way,
if you wanted to watch the cartoon, I'm cool with that.
So, is the reason that you wouldn't want your kid to play because of
By the way, to
No.
segue from Zelda, my wife bought me a Nintendo Switch for Valentine's Day.
Oh my god, I thought you were trolling us because you had that thing
Switch,
that looked
dude.
like a Switch.
Add me on Switch.
I just bought it right now. I just bought it today.
Sick, I have a
she
Switch
bought it
too.
for me today.
Wait, you bought it or she bought it?
You bought it for me.
Wait, which game?
Yeah.
I want to play with you. What's it?
For life.
For life. Oh, god damn. All right, nice.
Wow, that's so cute.
Yeah, but
She used his money.
the reason why I wouldn't the reason why I wouldn't want my kid to play it, honestly, is because I don't know. I don't want him to see that dad spends a lot. and on top of that, I don't know. Yeah, there is a gambling aspect to the game.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest
And,
deterrent.
Yep.
Anytime gambling is in play.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I don't know. It's hard to kind of pinpoint why I wouldn't want him to play it. I'm not going to stop him.
Your instincts are right. That's the only thing that won't lie to you.
Yeah.
Alternate
Or
perspective.
you can take it as your kid is young, and at the age of being young, that's the time where you absorb everything and learn about things the most. You have an opportunity to let him play and teach him that gambling aspect is not a very good aspect in life, and he grows up to knowing that his dad has taught him that the gambling aspect is not good. So there's two sides to it, right? There's much argument.
But it's like telling your kid not to smoke, but you're
you guys
sitting there
watched
smoking.
King of the Hill? And there's one episode. I only watched like one episode that I really like. The kid picked up smoking. So to make the kid quit, Hank Hill bought him a whole box of cigarette and told him to smoke that whole box of cigarette to make him hate smoking.
Wait, that was the only episode you liked?
Yeah, that's the only episode I like. Yeah. King of the Hill wasn't so entertaining. It was just like yeah, anyway, yeah. That's kind of like that theory. You can't like make them, you can't make them play it to learn the lesson,
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
Alright.
do any of us here have kids? MT, do you have kids?
Yeah, I have a 3-year-old. His
So,
name is Tank.
Nice. Do you think that would you hard disallow your you're not allowed to play Summoner's War, or would you try to use it as a tool to teach, like Brian said?
I would definitely not disallow him from playing it. I would discourage him. I want him to make his own decisions regardless. I want him to be able to kind of make mistakes and figure out things.
Well said.
Yeah, because the only way to grow as a person, you do have to make a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes in life, and I need him to make a lot of mistakes too. But I would entirely discourage him because, you know, as life is, temptation is really hard to control. Every time I see an LD pack, I get tempted.
Do you think by discouraging him, you would actually be reinforcing the wrong behavior? It's that delicate balance we've gone from talking about Summoners War to talking about parents.
I am certainly not a pro at being a dad, but you know, the only thing I can do is kind of just push him in the right direction as best as I can. But he's gonna have to eventually make those mistakes.
Yep.
What if he wants to be free to play?
Also, this is true. Discouraging or not discouraging, when he's old enough, he could make his own decision to choose to play, and that's up to him. But as for right now, like, I'll tell my son, I'll just tell him, don't play it. Yeah, not even discourage, man. Just, I better not see that shit on your phone, period. Yeah. When you're old enough, he could play all he wants, and that's his own business.
Let's just take a moment to kind of appreciate, and you know, this is gonna be a future topic on a podcast, but Emptei has a kid. None of us do, and he's G3. So that takes a moment of appreciation there. Lots of LD units, G3, and has a kid. I mean, he's beating you, Thompsin. I mean, let's be real, right? Because you G3 as well, but you don't got a kid yet, right? So that's quite a achievement.
Well, you guys know I'm going to be playing my Nintendo Switch, so...
Zelda's his kid. Link is also his kid.
All right, segueing off to that topic, we're going to finish off here with the last one, which we always do. We're going to open it up to people here in the chat. I know you guys have been kind of just listening in and chilling, but if you guys want to come up and ask any questions or give any topics out, anybody is free to take any topics that they see from the chat and bring it up for us to discuss. So
I saw one earlier. Someone said, what about the overly sexualized transmogs in Summoner's War? And my response to that is... go look at television, go look at movies, go look at everything out there in media. It doesn't matter. That's an irrelevant statement.
Nah, I don't care if he sees any of that stuff. He's allowed to. I do have something, kind of a little pro tip about passwords. I've seen some people's passwords because I've logged onto their accounts. They suck. Make new passwords. And here's how. Choose a phrase. Regular. Choose a phrase. Say, I love IslandGrown's stream. It's awesome. I watch it every day. Right? That's my phrase. So I can be 1. Love can be a capital L. IslandGrown's stream is IGS. You can do the caps on IG and then S at the end. I can be 1. Watch can be W. It can be 1T or just I or 1. Every day, ED. And there you have a very strong password.
And then there are a lot of people to write your password down, put it in a bottle, throw it into the ocean. So if you forget,
what?
You know where to find it at.
What are you talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is make a phrase, change out some of the letters for numbers, but you'll always remember that phrase.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's how you make it. That's how you make a dope password.
There's a lot of people who actually use password generators, and what they do is they use a password generator, and then they just copy paste it and have it on their like computer or somewhere saved, and it's like a crazy password.
The tough thing about password generators is that you'll never remember it when you're in a pinch.
That's why you have a password vault.
Yeah.
You have a password vault, and you
password vault. You could do that, but I'm just saying, making a phrase and making it extremely difficult is really, really easy, and the best way you can even remember your own password.
Or controversial statement, trust two-factor authentication, and you're good to go.
No, you're never good to go.
I mean, two-factor authentication for most things. I don't know about this game.
I think they had some issues, but I think it's all been resolved. I haven't heard, like, because let's be real, let's talk about that for a second here. There was a hacking situation when they started everything, right? But it looks like it's resolved. I don't hear people bypassing the two-factor anymore that Comtuous set up. I mean, it's bad that, you know, they were able to do that from the start, but yeah, I don't see people going through that.
It's less frequent now.
Yeah, much less frequent fill. So I mean, that actually helps with a layer of protection, I would say, for the most part. As much as the memes will go, about CompTIA security.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I haven't seen many posts on Reddit about it.
Bro, I talk to people that have secured their account. They secure their account and they're really safe with their account. They don't get hacked, man. And then the people that do get hacked, I ask them certain questions about what they do with their information and stuff, and it's horrendous. And then they ask why they got hacked.
Isn't what people complain about. What people complain about is the recovery.
It's gotten better.
The recovery process takes forever.
It does take a long time. Yeah,
it's a lot better though.
It's a lot better now. A lot better now than before. They respond.
No, share their passwords with way too many people. Stop sharing your passwords with so many people.
Change your password frequently.
If you have a Google Plus account, you should message CompTIA support, and you should ask them to allow you to build a Hive ID, or you should go into you go to your main lobby, you click your name in the top left corner, you click CompTIA Hive, and then I believe you can set a user ID, or you'll be given a user ID that's a number. Richard asked because Google Plus is shutting down.
I see.
Yeah,
and
but
some
nobody
people
can
use
summon for me.
Why is Tomato so high in RTA? He's got a good account. He's got good runes, and he's a really smart player. True false.
I mean, this season,
30 wings a day.
This season they changed the rules a little bit so that when you lose to a player a lot worse than you don't lose as many points. So that, whereas before it was basically about treading water and making incremental gains. Now it's a net gain if you can use all your wings, as long as you're winning a certain amount. So yeah,
he's the only one that could do 30 wings a day.
So that could come on with that means he's gonna, elevate a lot more.
I do like 30 wings a month.
I rarely do wings. I mean, the most wings we did was when we were in LA and we were all playing together. That was like the most wings I've done.
30 of Brian's wings. It was so much fun.
Yeah, we sat at the tea shop and we were just like hovering. I think that's the most fun. I mean, you remember at the LA as well? Emptei, you were there too. Whose account were we all playing? Yeah, everybody was around one table on one account. It was JMax's account. Yeah, it was like 5 people there. That's so fun, dude.
Tablet.
That's so fun.
It's true. Yeah, it is fun listening to what other people, think, or how they think and how they plan.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone's got a different opinion in this game. You just got to find yours.
Why are destroy runes undervalued?
Because they're not good in most content. Most content is too short-lived for destroy runes to be relevant.
Oh, there's a good answer there. Yeah, but I think
destroy runes take a lot of turns, and
the
most content does not go a lot of turns.
The good thing about destroy runes is because you have such a high rune standard for destroy runes. When you need to use them, you know that most of your destroy runes that you end up keeping got like insane stats. So that's one perk, and obviously you can use it in Guild Wars and Guild Siege. But in terms of RTA, I don't find a lot of value in destroy runes. I mean, unless you got like crazy speed on it or something, crazy efficiency.
There's a couple of monsters that are pretty decent on destroy.
In RTA like from the benefit of the set. But for the benefit of the set?
Arda, Fungen, Diana, decent.
I can't ever say that destroy runes have ever excelled me or won me a game. But in Siege and Guild Wars, they're fantastic.
Yeah,
because you could just
auto.
You can you just hit that auto button and just come back half an hour later. It's done.
Or half an hour.
Well, go have some food.
What kind of queue you running? That's like half an hour, dude.
You start your war and you take a shower.
That's not a Barbie girl.
Dude, the safest teams take a long time to kill.
Bangyan, Wusa, Rakuni, or Amelia or something. Just auto. Come back later.
I have geared away from that. I twins and bomb everybody.
This man uses Sierra, Gianna, Fran.
Yeah, it's just about clearing quickly. I'm very lazy. Copper Bulldozer,
Double
Katarina. I mean, Double Katarina is just kind of YOLO because it's fun, you know what I mean? But Double Katarina, Copper, Bulldozer, Bombs, I just use those.
Should we do RTA if we don't have OP RTA units? You should do RTA if you enjoy the idea or if you enjoy doing it.
Yep. You got to enjoy the aspect of wanting to improve on that game mode. Yeah, just think of it as game modes. You play the game modes you like, you excel in the ones you enjoy.
There has not been a guild war I lost, and all I do is Sierra.
You can't tell me you bomb. Sierra what? You have something safety.
Sierra, Gianna, Fran.
Oh
And
my
twins.
god. Okay, Sierra, Gianna, Fran. You have so many opportunities just in case your bombs don't land. Even if you miss your bomb like 3 turns in a row, you're still good. You're still, yeah.
And my second twin is just my second team is just twins and Bastet.
Martina, by the way.
Twins
how,
and Bastet.
how long do you guys think this game will last? That's a question in the
Martinez
chat as
just-
well. What do you think the longevity of the game is looking like right now?
The game's
7
at a
more
good
years.
point.
7 more years. How do you gauge that? Where you get that number?
I'm pulling that in my rear. 7
Okay.
more years.
7 more years.
I try to gauge the game in sets of 2. Every 2 years, I'll reevaluate whether the game is going to continue longer. I think right now we're still probably another year and a half at least before I have to think about it again.
I don't know.
There's not one person that I know that's not telling me I feel like I'm gonna start not spending money on this game anymore. It might not be true, but everyone's thinking it. Probably Emptei, right? You know, he's thinking it too.
I haven't
Huh?
spent in a while after getting
Yeah.
those LDs. Yeah.
Question: What do high rank
Everybody
RTA?
is starting to like face the other direction. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So as
But-
we phase out spending, other people phase in spending because they get
Yeah.
closer to the ranks as people quit. So
Next
it kind of
man
just
up.
ebbs and
But as far as how long this game will last, it's a little bit of RNG too. Depends on how people spend, but
It's the most
Updates
promising
is a
mobile
big
game right
thing.
now out there. Honestly,
as long as something else doesn't come that
It's very
completely
well
dominates the
established.
game, there's that part. But there's also the part of if they don't add an update that completely screws over the game, or
which I don't see that they
It's off too
won't
many
because this is
players.
they know this is their best game, so this is the one they
Yeah.
invest the most time in.
They're
as
also
long as they don't
what
make
I've
mistakes,
heard
they'll have
from-
good running.
What I've heard from Tyler was that they're also under a lot of pressure right now because E7's doing really good.
But the
I mean,
thing
it's
is that
okay. E7 is in a delicate position. They have a lot of potential. However, I don't think it will overtake this game unless we're looking like a year and a half later. I think if the game goes really well, and if this game doesn't go so well, in a year and a half it could overtake. However, I think that in the current state, this game is way better because it's way more established and there is way more to do.
we're all biased. You realize that, right? Because of how
We-
the longevity and how long we've been playing the game.
We
and
are
E7 being a
biased.
new game, we're a little bit biased, and most players are going to be a little bit biased on their opinion which game has more longevity. Versus if you ask a random mobile gamer who has never played either games, I
Oh,
think
dude.
they would agree
Look
to say Summoner's War is
Yeah.
more established and the one that would last longer.
look at history. I mean, we've seen so many Summoners War clones or similar games pop up, seem really promising, and then fade away. I've lost count of how many similar games have been the next Summoners War. I mean, I'm not going to bet against the game that's been here for so long.
Summoners War, like E7 had. Nothing's even been close to like being the same thing with a different IP. This
Nothing.
Epic 7 is very, very similar with a different IP and maybe like 10 things that are different.
Korean
But, like,
company as
that's-
well, by the way. Korea's doing something right. I'm
Yeah,
gonna just say
and
that,
so-
man.
so
They got
the thing
they
is, when
do
you
with
look
something.
at it, the developers of E7 were the old Soccer Spirits developers before Soccer Spirits got taken over by Comtuous. So plus they have people from old Summoners War players that are balancing the game. You guys remember in the intro loading screen, there's that guy with the light panda, Swagzer. He's on the developer team for that too, right? So they have a lot of Summoners War knowledge and experience, which is why I think that the game will live. However, I don't want to say that it will overtake or anything. I still prefer Summoners War. I think it's a great game.
Question to you: how do you even play 2 games?
I play 5 games at once.
Jesus.
I
I
have
mean,
2
it's
instances
not
of Epic 7
you
open.
just
I
don't
have
you just
2
don't
instances of
hardcore
Summoners
you
War.
just don't hardcore all of them. You know what I mean?
I
Like
have
there's some
no
that you
life.
change slightly more
Oh.
casual. Yeah.
See,
It seems- So go ahead.
Oh, for me, it's Summoner's War is the game that I play when I'm mobile, and then when I'm at home, I'm on the PC or whatever.
Oh, what you playing on PC right now? Let me ask.
Apex?
Apex?
Yeah,
Fortnite?
Apex is on the list.
All right, I'm getting Apex. You guys
I never
maybe do
got
it.
into
Brian, you got a computer for Apex yet? Oh wait.
Yeah, you be quiet. No, but I cleared up some space on my solid state drive because if I'm gonna play it, I'm not gonna put it on my regular like hard drive. It has to be on my
The
solid
only
state drive.
game you guys should be playing right now is Auto Chess. Oh my god, that game is so fun.
Oh yeah, that's been a pretty hype game too. Yeah.
Auto chess and Apex.
So fun.
What else do you play, Berk? I'm curious.
I mean, I'm really focused on Summoners War when it comes to mobile games because
Cannabis.
I can't emotionally divide myself that way. I play Magic the Gathering too, but I mean when it comes to mobile games,
Arena or like real cards?
both. I prefer the
Nice.
real game.
Nice.
But no, I mean,
It's on a tear today.
like when it comes to mobile games, I can't focus on too many games at once. I'm emotionally invested in one game. It takes all my energy. It takes up space in my brain. I can't memorize everything in one game, let alone 5.
I agree. Yeah, I might start up playing Apex as well. But yeah, that makes sense, Emptei. Like when you're out and about, you know what I mean. Summoners War is like you're mobile, but when you're home, you got a different game in mind. But I guess that's one of the ways that people play multiple games. Is that some of the games do allow emulators. Now, Summoners War doesn't support it, but a lot of other of the mobile games do support it as well. So it makes it a lot easier for you to play multiple games.
When you're playing Apex Legend, you can't farm and play Apex Legend.
Of course
when
you can.
you're playing auto chess,
Yes, you can.
You just have to get good.
It's kind of hard. Come on
everything in farm. I farm
Are
like
we playing
5
the same
games
game
at once
here?
while playing
Okay.
other shit.
But when
Dude,
you're playing auto
Thompsin.
chess, you can farm and play auto chess. Yeah.
Dude, let me give you a pro tip, Thompson. 2 hands, mouse and keyboard. Summoner's War toe.
You do that really? Not, Scott.
There's no way.
There's no way. I just can see him
He's
right
got a
now.
tablet stand on the left or the right or something.
No, that's why we've been talking about his kid and playing the game. He's got his kid there watching him play Apex. Click and replay for him, son. Click, replay. Yeah, sell.
It's like having your own maid like Koro used to have.
Oh man, no, I stop farming once I get home. Yeah, that's the way I deal with it.
So that's why you're not legend. I see.
When it
Makes
comes
sense.
down to it, it's still a game.
Exactly.
You got to play the game on your time. Play the game the way you enjoy it, when you enjoy it.
I agree.
Hey, because you play Magic cards, don't you wish that Come To Us did like a weekly tournament or like a Friday night Magic?
Oh, I'd love something.
Oh,
like
that would be awesome.
Actually, a lot of people at the office play Magic.
Like
Well,
wait,
I'm
you're
not
saying
talking about Magic here.
Summoners
Summoners
War
War.
Summoners
Yeah,
War having a
Friday night
tournament.
Summoners War.
Didn't they try to do some kind of ESL thing with the EU community? Like they had that going on for a couple weekends. I don't know
Was,
whatever happened to that.
Middle East, Northern Africa, and Europe.
Yeah, they did some
I-
kind
we
of
could probably
ESL
do
thing.
it, to
Like
be
how
honest.
Counter Strikes have those tournaments. Yeah, they had one every weekend for like a month or 2 or something like that.
Party at Thompson's
wanna
house
do
every
it?
Friday.
Yeah, we
do
could
it
we
between
could
all of
we
us.
can plan more stuff and do something like that if you guys want. Like to schedule up a tournament or whatever it is, and I think people would get knowledge of watching, some of the known players just duke it out. I think it's good scrimming for you guys. I mean, let's be real, you guys scrim on the daily as well.
Again.
Yeah.
But it's weird because like for Magic you can have like 50 people play at one time and then at the end the 2 best player play, right? But how we do that for Twitch? Like how do we do that?
You only
how-
can
how we do
showcase
that on
one match at
stream?
a time. So what would happen is
Exactly.
that when you're streaming on Twitch,
So you can showcase 1 match per device that you own that you can put on your screen. So maybe you could do 2, but it would be hard because then you'd have to commentate both of them. Really doesn't really make sense.
I mean, the
Can-
problem
Can I throw
is.
something out there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why don't we make like a Twitch Rivals thing? No, hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
5 Twitch streamers. Get your teams together. Have them duke it out. The best from your teams fight other Twitch players' teams.
Oh.
Twitch rivals.
Thompson, you're on my team.
Find some prize support and
Yo, come to us if you're watching this, man. They just did like the game just came out, Apex, just like a week ago, and they just did a 50K tournament, man. Can we get like 25K for this Twitch Rivals Summoners War tournament going on? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You guys watch, like, I guess like lately I've been into like Dota, right? Like Dota Auto Chess. Every time I'm watching Dota, they're having a tournament. Like every day, every
They're
time,
rich,
every
dude.
hour.
They're rich.
I mean, yeah, when it comes down to it,
Come
that's
to
the
us
thing.
is
You
rich
need
too.
prize
Come
support.
on now.
Well,
You have a
Dota is
lot
the
of
highest
qualifiers
paying
and
tournament game out there, man.
I mean, put the money there, the players will come. But the main obstacle to having a Friday night Summoners War type of thing is the prize support. If we have the prize support, players will show.
And can I say something? Like for Magic, for prize support, they didn't give like crazy stuff. For prize, they'll give like a very special foil card that's not even like super expensive or something, right? So like for Summoners War, every Friday night they could do like a online type of tournament, and like the top 100 of every like region or something like that gets like a transmog, like a special transmog.
Isn't that basically RTA skins?
Yeah, but it's
yeah,
a way
but
faster
it's like
pace.
weekly.
It's a way faster.
Well, I'm just
pace.
saying you don't have to give crystals or give money.
Yeah.
Like Magic, they just give like a foil like card or common or
Give
whatever.
Elia a new mount.
Huh?
Give Elia a new mount.
Yeah, or something like that. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so there's two questions in chat that I think are pretty important that have come up a lot over and over. Timmy says, if they offer more prize pools and tournaments, do you think more endgame players will spend? Yes or no? I don't think it really matters. I think more of the lower end players will spend, actually. Like the borderline G2 players will spend a lot. I don't think the G3 players will spend much more.
I was spending like crazy during SWC. So yes,
But
The
for
higher
small
end
scale
players will.
tournaments, do you like would that influence more spending for you?
I think to each his own. You know, with that one, some people will. Some
Yeah.
people, but they'll definitely see a bump of their income for sure.
I mean, the extreme whales aren't spending to make money because they're putting a lot into the game. They're spending for pride. They want to win. You know, it's the competition that draws them. So I guess it depends on how much prestige there would be to these. Like if they announce the winners in game, like a huge announcement, congratulations to this dude. Yeah, people would probably spend more. But if it's just like a private thing that no one really pays attention to, maybe not.
Yeah, if there was some bragging rights to throw it in somehow. Like I agree with Thompson, maybe a cool transmog skin that just
Or an
kinda
in-game
says,
banner.
you're the weekly champion.
yeah, in-game banner, anything. Yeah.
Anything,
What's the second
something.
question?
Yeah. I
The
love
second
that.
question was, sorry, do you have anything else to say, Empty? Or Brian?
No.
Oh, no,
I'm,
no.
I'm good.
Go ahead.
The second question, and I dealt with this a lot yesterday. So Wednesdays I do sub RTA, and a lot of my subs are like fighter. So some struggle matches. Gumi the Great says, how can we discourage Guardian players from farming fighter? And I agree, this is a huge issue. Yesterday, playing on a couple fighter accounts, I probably ran into half my matches were just people with Guardian wings autoing like fighter players. And I mean straight up autoing. They start the match and it just autos.
The way you fix that is just with like an MMR system or something, where like depending on how many total matches you've played, it becomes actually more difficult for you to climb back up. So you actually will be discouraged to D-rank, because by D-ranking, you're gonna make it tougher for you every time you D-rank to rank back up. Yeah,
The
Is it more
issue with that
scary
is that
for
a
the
lot of
Guardian
players
player?
don't really care about that end game rank. They don't care about the final season rank. What they do is they just farm noobs for fast points really fast, like easily.
Oh.
They just farm for the gained glory from RT.
Yeah, you talk about the guys that will like lose half of theirs, like just bomb 15 and
No,
then
I mean
auto another 15.
people like our rank who will literally sit in fighter 3.
Yeah, but they
and
have to
just
lose
tap
like
start an
15
arcane.
first to get
Well,
down low.
You can start by just losing all your placements.
Yeah, but anyway, you
yeah,
try
I'm
to,
kind of now understanding this too, like
Yeah.
Berk.
But any way you slice it, though, somebody's gonna lose.
Yeah.
You give diminishing returns to those who lose often. It's the guys who do lose often that are trying will get them, lower points or whatnot. There's no way to really fix it without one part of the population being heard about it.
So do you think that 1 point per loss would be enough mitigation, that people would complain less about it and it would also just be accepted per se? It wouldn't be right, but it would just be accepted.
That could promote
Yeah,
actually
but-
people to D-rank, because they get points for D-ranking too, as well as ranking up.
If they gave me 1 point for losing, I would just do 30 wings every day and leave every match. That's 30 points.
So do you think that the lower players would accept that because then they get free wins?
Yes and no, I
So-
guess. But the point of doing RTA is that you really want to do battles. You want to duke it out with the other players. Having to go in and specifically look for points or hope for points, I think you're kind of going in with the wrong thought process in mind.
I mean,
I mean,
I have no idea how we really like.
I think
make it.
deranking is
It's
kind of an
something
issue.
that people bring up all.
It's
If
an
the
issue
problem is
that's
some-
really hard to fix. But I think one issue that's similar, but I would like to segue into it, is when people are AFK and just doing the RTAs and just leaving their phone there AFK. I think there should be something implemented where it kicks them out of the match and they actually lose it or whatever. Instead of being able to like start the match AFK, all the bans are picked AFK. Like how do you tell me that somebody clicked the RTA button and physically just wasn't there for all of the picks and going into the match? Right? It should auto kick you so you don't have to wait and waste your time like sitting there while this guy's just like full autoing you from the beginning to end, right? In AFK.
Well,
It's
it's not always
bots?
bots. And the reason I say it's not always bots is because a lot of these matches, I'll start winning and then they'll come back. And I know they come back because the timer changes and the targeting changes. And I'm like, okay, well, this person was trying to auto me and now they're going to lose, right? But some people come back and they can still win and stuff. And it's just a huge waste of your time and it's frustrating.
Mm.
I don't know. It's just a topic. I don't really have any like solution for it or anything that I've thought of that has good merit to it, but I just wanted to bring it up because people ask about it all the time in my stream and in your stream with the podcast.
I kind of have a like, if you're a fighter 1 and you play against a G1 or G2 and you lose to him, is that what you're talking about?
No, it's a G1 that's in fighter that's playing against, that's matching with you.
Okay.
Yeah. So people are like,
they're
what the
literally
heck, man?
like 1 to 3 silver stars.
Oh,
They're like 1,300 points. It's like, why?
But easy, right? Let's pretend you went down to, let's even C1, let's say, Thompson. Yeah? How easy would it be for you to do your 30 wings?
yeah, I remember placement. I was
Easy.
like autoing everybody on stream. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's why they do it, so they can just farm points, because they don't care about end rank, is what Tyler's saying. They just want the points. And it makes it really, really a very toxic environment for players who are actually trying to do RTAs or trying to rank up and actually really care about it. There's just no chance they can win.
All right.
I mean, if you're trying to incentivize actually caring about your rank and not tanking, I guess the direct solution would be to increase the prize support for the final rank, you know? Right now they give you a Mog, a Mount for Elia, an Aura or something. Maybe give you some real crystals, like every 3 months or so, or even make the RTA season shorter and reward crystals at the end of that.
It's not hard to climb at all. I can climb about it. If I start at Conqueror, I think I can climb almost 150 points a day until I get to Guardian 1, Guardian 2.
Would a shorter RTA season reduce that? If you have less time to mess around and tank, and if you had to climb from the beginning, like you can't sink in Special League and climb back up because it's only 2 weeks.
But in every game they always have this problem of people tanking and, aka the correct word in terms of gaming, smurfing, right? It's everywhere. You see it all the time. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's a hard, like Emptei said, it's a hard thing because any way you slice it, someone's gonna lose. So.
But then in the end, when the guys do have to eventually tank back down and toss some battles, you get free wins, and it does kind of balance out to a degree.
Yep.
It's true. But anyways, yeah, podcast went a little longer than usual today, but we had some fun and interesting topics going on. Thank you guys so much for joining me on the podcast today. It was really, really good, really, really interesting, fun, and hopefully informative for you guys watching here on Twitch or on YouTube. Make sure if you guys are watching from YouTube, though, please go ahead and hit a like and leave a comment below. We'll also put everybody's Twitch channel in the description so you guys can come check them out. We got a lot of content creators, in all different kinds of time zones, streaming at different time zones. So hopefully you can catch some of them and ask your questions and continue to improve in the game and even RTA. Any last words from any of you guys? Feel free to throw anything out before we send it off here.
Emptei promise to start streaming soon. You better not let us down.
Yeah, man. I wanna see you streaming, bro.
I'll get on it. I'll get on it.
I think you have a lot of stuff locked in your head up there that we'd like to hear about.
Do not forget, guys, TOA resets tonight, which means I'm racing Brian again like I do.
I won't be doing TOA Rush this month though. Yeah, Valentine's Day, so gonna go out and we're gonna go to the store. Because Valentine's Day is terrible to go get dinner because it's like terrible service and really busy. So we're just gonna go to the store, save money, buy something maybe good to eat, and maybe a bottle of wine, and just kind of hang out today. Plus, I had a sore throat from this morning, so I gotta rest my voice, man. Yeah, literally.
Valentine's Day, I'll be at home playing my Switch
with the waifu.
Add me
together
in your
though,
Switch.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys later, YouTube. Peace out.
Thanks for having us, Brian.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.